Hello and welcome back, dear students. Wish you all stay happy, healthy, and safe at home. I'm Yojana Parak, and in today's video, I'm going to discuss a poem of Standard 11 from your English textbook Hornbill. Name of this poem is My Childhood, written by Markus Natten. This is a very simple and short poem which has a deep meaning that I will explain you in this video. So let us start. When did my childhood go? Was it the day I ceased to be 11? Was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography and therefore could not be? Was that the day? So here the writer says that when he lost his childhood, when his childhood went, and he assumes, he guess that might be when he crossed his age after 11. So might be at that time when he realized that the hell and heaven is not a real place. You cannot find hell and heaven in the geography map. So that is why there is no hell, there is no heaven. And might be that was the day when I realized this. That time I lost my childhood. So here he is talking about rationalism. He says that when I got matured, when I got intellectual, when I got rational, might be that was the time when I lost my innocence, when I lost my childhood. When did my childhood go? Was it the time I realized that adults were not all they seemed to be? They talked of love and perched of love, but did not act so lovingly. Was that the day? Here, the poet talks about hypocrisy. That means person is not the same as the way he is presenting himself. Here you can see in this image that they have on mask. In the mask they are looking happy, but inside they are angry or are jealous with each other or have some conflict in each other. So this is the way they are presenting, but it is not the real they are. So here the poet asks that where his childhood went. What was the time? Was it the time when he realized that adults, or you can say his parents, were not as they seemed to be? जैसे पोएट को लगते थे वो adults, वो बड़े लोग वैसे नहीं थे. They talked of love and purged of love. They always taught us to be loving and kind to other, to be helpful to other. But what they purged, what they taught, was not the way they behaved, the way they talked to each other. They purged about love, but they themselves did not apply it. They were jealous of each other, they were fighting with each other, they had hate for each other. So, in this way, the words they spoke and the action they made had vast difference. That is called hypocrisy. So, when I realized that they were hypocrite, might be that was the day when I lost my childhood, when I realized that my parents or the adults were not the way they are, were not the way they presenting themselves. So might be that was the day when I realized that hypocrisy, I lost my innocence and my childhood went away. When did my childhood go? Was it when I found my mind was really mine to use whichever way I choose, producing thoughts that were not those of other people, but my own and my alone? Was that the day? The writer talks about individuality. He says that when did my childhood went away? Was that the time when I found that my mind was really mine and I could use whichever way I choose. That means I can take my own decision. I also have mind, I also have thoughts, and they are mine, and I can apply it on myself. That means I do not have to depend on others' decisions. I can make my own decision and can implement them, producing thoughts that were not those of other people. That means I do not have to follow other people's decision, but my own and mine alone. Here he speaks about individuality when he realized that he is an individual and he is independent. He can make his own decision and he has his own life. When he realized that individuality, that he is separate from others and his decisions are separate from others, it is not necessary for him to follow other people's decision and other people's thoughts. He can make his own thoughts, his own decision, and can implement them. So, was that the time when I realized my individuality and when I realized that I am mature and I can make my own thoughts, I can make my own decision, and I can apply them? So, was that the time when I lost my innocence? Mostly in our childhood, we obey what our parents teach us. We do not ask them why, and we do not oppose them, but we just do what they teach us because we believe them. We think that whatever they are saying will be good for us. We feel secure with them and we respect our elders. Till that time, we do not realize that we are individual and we can do any action or we can take any decision by our own. So that was the time when he was a child. He always obeyed his parents and followed his parents. But till that time, he was a child when he was obeying his parents without any question, without any logic, without any argument, without any oppose. So that was the time when he was a child. But when he started making his own thoughts, making his own plans, that was, he feels that might be that was the time when he lost his innocence and he became mature and he lost his childhood somewhere. Where did my childhood go? Here the line is changed. See, in all three previous stanza, he asked, when did my childhood go? Here he is asking, where did my childhood go? He is certain that he has lost his childhood at some point of time. Now he is asking that where he lost his childhood. It went to some forgotten place that is hidden in an infant's face. That's all I know. So he says that now I am certain that somewhere, and at some point of time I have lost my childhood, I have lost my innocence, but maybe it has gone to some forgotten place from where I cannot bring it back. And I have forgotten that place where I have lost my childhood, but it is somewhere. Now I can find my childhood in an infant's face, in a baby's face. When I see a baby, I find that innocence which I had. That means I recall the memories of my childhood when I see the face of a baby. When I see his innocence, I recall my childhood memories. So, might be I have lost somewhere my childhood, but I recall them, those memories, when I see a child, because only in the child you can see innocence, or you can recall your childhood memory when you see a child. He says that all I know is that I have lost my childhood at some point of time, at somewhere where I cannot go back. That is a forgotten place from where I cannot bring my childhood back. But I can recall those memories when I see any infant's face, any child's face. When I see his innocence, I recall my childhood memories. So he says that the childhood, my childhood, is hidden in an infant's face. That innocence which I see in the baby, I recall my childhood, my innocence. So he feels that his childhood is hidden in an infant's face, in a baby's face. That is what all I know. So in this poem, the poet wants to give us the message that the period of our childhood was the most beautiful, the most adorable memory which we recall forever in our life. And that childhood, that innocence we have lost when we became mature. Somewhere we have lost that childhood at some point of time, but whenever we see a child, we recall our childhood memories and that most beautiful period of our life. That is why we all have a childhood hidden in ourselves. But when we grew up, we lost that innocence and became mature in this world. दुनियादारी में हमने अपना बचपन कहीं खो दिया, जो हम हमेशा वापस पाना चाहते हैं, बट हम उसे वापस कभी पा नहीं सकते. लेकिन वो चाइल्डहुड मेमोरीज हम हमेशा रिकॉल करते हैं जब भी हम किसी बच्चे के इनोसेंस को देखते हैं या फील करते हैं. सो दैट इज़ द मैसेज द पोएट वांट्स टू गिव अस. I hope that the explanation is clear to you. Now let us move towards literary devices used in this poem. First literary device used here is rhyming scheme. In the first stanza, you can see the rhyming scheme is A, B, B, that is 11 and heaven, C, C, geography and not B, and D. So the rhyming scheme is A, B, B, C, C, D. Next literary device is antithesis. In the third line, you can see two opposite words are used in the same line, hell and heaven. The next is alliteration. In the same line, third line, you can see hell, heaven. Same sound is repeating. So this is alliteration. H is repeating. Next, you can see assonance in the fourth line could not be found in geography. O sound is repeating, so this is assonance. And in the second and third line, you can see anaphora. Anaphora, that means when two or more sequential lines are beginning with the same word or same phrase. So here you can see, was it the day, was it the time? So it is the same word and same phrase which is used in the sequential line. So this is anaphora. Next, you can notice refrain. Refrain is used when a particular line or a particular phrase is repeated in one or more lines in the same poem to emphasize that particular line or that particular thought. That is called refrain. So here you can see first and last line. When did my childhood go? Was that the day? Is repeating in first, second, third paragraph. So this is refrain. And next thing you can see consonants. Was that the day? The sound is repeating. So this is consonants, and alliteration also. T is repeating. So in this way uh, you can see refrain, alliteration, antithesis, assonance, consonance, anaphora in the first stanza. Now, in the second stanza, there is no particular rhyming scheme. So, this is called free verse without any rhyming scheme. Next, you can see enjambment in the second and third line. Without any punctuation, the line continues in the third line also. So this is called enjambment when without any punctuation, the line continues in two or more lines. The sentence continues in two or more lines. That is called enjambment. Was it the time I realized that adults were not all they seem to be? So this is the same sentence that is continuing in the sequential line, second and third. So this is in enjambment. Next, you can see repetition of love, of love. So love word is repeated in the same line. This is repetition. The next thing you can notice is in the fourth line, you can see assonance, but did not act so lovingly. So here O sound is repeating, that is assonance. In the last line, the sound is repeating, so that is consonance. In the third stanza also, there is no particular rhyming scheme, so this is also free verse. Next, we can see here inversion. Inversion, that means when the order of the sentence is inversed. Here, in the third line, to use whichever way I choose. It could be said that I can choose whichever way I want to use. But instead of that, it is written as to use whichever way I choose. So this is inversion. Next, you can see assonance in the fourth line. Thoughts that were not those of other people. O sound is repeating, so this is assonance. In many instances, you can notice assonance, consonance, and alliteration by yourself also. Now, you can see that in the fourth and fifth line, the line continues. So, this is also enjambment, producing thoughts that were not those of other people but my own and mine alone. So, this is enjambment. Now, in the last fourth stanza, you can see the rhyming scheme is go, place, face, no. That is A, B, B, A. So this is the rhyming scheme. And the next thing you can notice that I sound is repeating in third line, that is hidden in an infant's face. So this is assonance. Keep in mind that in alliteration, the sound of consonant will come in at the beginning of the word and will be repeated in the sequential word, while in assonance and consonance it is not necessary that the sound will be repeating in the sequential word and will come at the beginning of the word. It can be in the middle or at the last, anywhere in the word, but the sound will be repeating. It is not compulsory that it will be there in the beginning of the word. While in alliteration, it is necessary that the beginning sound will be repeated in the sequential word. So, this is the difference between alliteration and consonance and assonance. So, with this, all the literary devices come to an end. We saw refrain, assonance, consonance, alliteration, enjambment, anaphora, antithesis in this poem. So, these were the literary devices used in this poem. With this, the explanation of this poem and literary devices of this poem and the main thought of this poem is explained. I hope you enjoyed this poem, and now this poem is clear to you and you can understand it clearly in a better way. With this, we come to an end of this video. Now we will meet in the next video. Till then, be safe, take care of yourself, and be happy and healthy. Thanks for being with me. See you.